having a little scrape and an explore around this area, and I've just seen something down here which has made me want to investigate further. Just here, underneath this metal piece. Now, at first I thought it was a leaf. You see what I'm looking at there? But it's not. It's actually made of metal. So what is it? Look at this. Isn't it curious? It looks like a foot, like a webbed foot. Do you know, I think it... Now that is interesting. Whatever can that be? It was obviously screwed onto something, but it does look like a duck's foot, doesn't it? Kind of. A duck's foot with upturned toes. Well, there is one mystery find, everyone. A webbed foot with misshapen toes. Or something else. I think it's time I did a video of all my mystery finds, because there's quite a few of them. I mean, a lot of them I know what they are now, but it might be fun to see if everyone else does, and see how many you can get. Right, okay, let's see if there's anything else around here. But I'm sure that's going to be the mystery find of the outing. There's a coin for the Thames charity box. Now I have seen something just here. Looks like a little bead or something. That's nice, isn't it? Would have been set in something at some point. Very nice. We're about to get some wake, which is quite good because it might just wash off some of this sludgy old mud. Here it comes. Woo! Now, there's quite an interesting little spot here. And so, I'm going to concentrate here for a little while. Now, I can already see a button here. It's very worn. Doesn't look like there's anything on there. Still, I'll put it in my bag. I can see the back of a button. And what's this? Is this a button as well? Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's have a look over here. I can see a little hook here, a bit bent out of shape, and look, there's a little piece of typeset just here, tiny, probably a dot or something. Oh no, what's that? Now, I'm not sure. Could be an N. Oh, it could be a W. It could be a tiny W. W for white. What else have we got? Let's have a little scrape. Oh, what's that? Is that another button? No. Now there are lots of pins here, it's always a good sign. Ooh, what's that I spy? Looks like a pipe to me. Hidden between these two rocks. Let's take a look. Now, it's not a very big pipe stem on there, as you can see, but we may well have a maker, so let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Yeah, I think there's one on there. If there is a maker, then on the left-hand side here is the Christian name, and on the right-hand side is the surname. It's a little piece of shrapnel. And I've seen something that looks quite pretty down here. Can you see it? You see what I'm looking at? Now, I'm not sure what that is, if it's a cross or a flower. Here it is, let's have a look. Oh, do you know, I think that's a little cross, isn't it? You can see where the chain would have gone, where the loop would have gone in there, this tiny little hole at the top to go on a chain. That looks like a lovely little cross. And probably there were little tiny stones in there at one point. Oh, isn't that nice? Let's have a look around here. It's a really clean foreshore. Oh, is that an animal? It's so camouflaged. I hardly saw it, but I think that is part of an animal. Yes, it is, look. I believe that was a sheep at one point. A little lead sheep. You see how your eyes just become accustomed to the terrain after a while. And you've got to just look so carefully. A little legless sheep called Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Meh, meh. Sorry about that, it's been a long day. Oh, let's focus a little bit more around here, around this area. There's a few interesting little bits and pieces here. There's this, which looks like it's missing a stone. And I've noticed this as well because it's an oval shape. A little bit of metal there. And so I'm wondering what's underneath this incrustation. What could there be? Oh, there's another round edge down here as well, look. Do you think that's a coin or a button? Probably a button, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's a button there. But this thing, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not going to bash it to try and get that crusty stuff off because I'll probably break whatever it is underneath there, and we don't want that. So I'll take it home and put it in a little bit of vinegar for a while, see if we can loosen it up and see what's underneath there. It could be absolutely nothing, but you never know. Might be a nice surprise underneath all that. So, 3 little things to put in my bag. Now there's something tiny down here, but it could be a little seal. It's just here. Very, very small, but I can see something on it. So many small things here. Let's have a look. It's the tiniest little seal. And, oh yes. Yes, yes. Now I've seen those before, and I think that there's a couple of tiny squirrels, or at least one squirrel on there. Tiny, tiny little squirrel seal. Now over here, in between these rocks, something has caught my eye. Something round. I don't think, from looking at it, that it's metal. It could even be plastic. But I can see that it's got a hole in the top. Can you see it there? And so I'm just wondering if it's some kind of little label. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Derv. What does that mean? Derv. Derv. There is nothing more to say about that, is there really? There's all sorts of pottery, bones, loads and loads of bones here, and oyster shells. Pieces of clay pipe. And, oh, what's this? Oh, now that's a nice padlock, isn't it? Now, I've not seen one that shape before. I wonder if this is a little older than my usual padlock find. Look at that. Wow, now that's really nice. Oh, I can't wait to clean that up. Wow. Now, what is this here that I can see eroding out of the mud? At first I thought it was metal, but I think it's wood, or I don't know, it could be metal. Let's have a look. Is that wood? Yeah, that is wood, you know. It's interesting, isn't it? I wonder what that is. Thank you very much for watching. Welcome to my studio. I hope that you enjoyed that little foray along the River Thames and that you found it as relaxing as I did. You never know what you're going to find when you go out, and it certainly was quite an eclectic little mix of finds there. It's almost as if somebody opened up their old jewellery box and just scattered it all over the mud, and I was there to pick it all up. So we have some strange little finds, that is for sure. And I think I have to say that my favourite find, which I'm going to talk about first, is this padlock. As you can see, I managed to clean it up quite well. When I picked it up, it was in a right old state, but I was quite excited because usually the padlocks I find, which I love as well, I do like a good padlock, is this kind of shape, an old barge padlock. But this one, I've never found one this shape before. So I was hoping that it was something a little bit older, and indeed I think it is. And now if I'm right, I think it's from Georgian times. And when I cleaned it off, I was so thrilled to find that there is a name on there, and the name is S. Brat. So I put this on Twitter, and thank you very much to Melissa Terras, who is Professor of Digital Cultural Heritage, who managed to find records of a Samuel Bratt. She found his will, which was dated 1808, and she found that he was a furnishing ironmonger in Bishopsgate Street in London. So it's very possibly him. I mean, that would make sense. An ironmonger who could possibly have made padlocks. So it could be that this padlock was once in the hands or in the shop of Samuel Bratt, who was married to Sarah and had two children, Charles, William and Samuel, and who was, the owner of this rather lovely padlock. What I like about it is it's got quite a nice decorative bit there that would have gone over the actual keyhole part. So I soaked it in vinegar for a while and gave it a good scrub, and there we have it. Of course, in 1808, there was King George III on the throne. London would have been a vastly different place, and I wonder how this padlock came to be in the mud. Now, if you think you may have a more precise date, or if you think differently about the date that I've just said, the early 1800s, then please let me know, because I haven't really had much feedback from it. I did put it on a Facebook page that's dedicated to padlocks, but nobody came back to me. But I'm rather pleased with that padlock. Now, the next find is this very odd little misshapen duck's foot. Now, afterwards, it did occur to me that it could be a back scratcher that would have screwed onto something. But on the other hand, it just seems a little bit blunt. I mean, that little duck's foot seems a little bit blunt. You're not going to get a very satisfying scratch with that, are you? But it seems like the only logical explanation that I can think of. So if you think that this could be a back scratcher, part of, then yeah, just let me know. Or if you think it's something else, then please enlighten me. Very, very, very strange. It's just the way that the little toes are curled upwards. Yeah, so, yeah, very strange. This little cross here polished up quite well. It probably had some stones in it before, but that's rather sweet, isn't it? I wonder who wore that. Now this tiny little seal here, and I have seen a few of these, it does in fact have a couple of squirrels on there. And of course, as some of you may know, I do have a resident squirrel who comes round each day for his breakfast and his lunch. And I was kind of hoping that it might have been something that his ancestors may have used to seal up ye old bag of peanuts. But no, apparently it's more likely linked to Johnny Walker whiskey. And the squirrels on the seal are actually the squirrels from the coat of arms of the Scottish town of Kilmarnock. So there we are. They're tiny little seals. I'm not exactly sure where they would have gone, maybe around the neck of the bottle. But very, very cute. Two little squirrels, and the perfect size for a little bag of peanuts for my resident squirrel, wouldn't you say? Now the other tiny find that I have here in front of me is this little typeface, and it is indeed a tiny little W. So very appropriate, W for white. What else do I have? Oh yes, this at the end, which is actually still full of mud. It turns out to be part of a musical instrument. I almost left it where it was. That's why I sort of stopped filming it and didn't pick it up very much and show it to you whilst it was on the foreshore, because I was going to leave it there. But then I realised that it was a little more interesting than what it looked, and it's part of some kind of flute or recorder. And it's not dissimilar to another instrument part that I found a few years ago. And this turns out to be from some kind of military flute or pipe or something. So yeah, maybe some sailor used this. I guess it had another part at the top which would have screwed in, but maybe some sailor on a ship in a dockyard used to play that to his other shipmates. Now, have I got anything else down here? No, there's just this little piece of pipe which I found, which has got an interesting little maker's mark on it. There was no tobacco in this one. I always keep the mud in there just in case there's going to be some tobacco. This mystery plastic plaque d'oeuvre. If anybody knows anything about this, then please enlighten me. Oh, and I almost forgot this little pin here, which did turn out to be something. You know, that little oval piece of metal. I could just see the edges poking out of the incrustation. So I took it home with me and I did soak it for a while, and I did a little bit of electrolysis on it as well. And look what was revealed. It's a little dancing pixie, and what it is actually is a brownie pin. It is a brownie promise pin, probably from around about the 1940s apparently. So that's quite quaint, and I wonder who wore that. And guess what? I was in the brownies when I was younger, and I found my old photo. Actually, it's here in my studio. For some reason, I've got it propped up over there. And so here we are. It's a good opportunity to show you my brownies photo. So look at that. Haven't changed a bit, have I? So I could have had a pin like that, although I wasn't around in the 1940s, but they probably didn't change much. So there we are. I loved the brownies. Yeah, I really, really did. I remember taking my vows. I promise that I will do my best. The brownies, honestly. Right, so I think, actually, for today, those are the finds. An eclectic little selection, but you can't pick and choose what you find, and I'm very pleased with that little haul. What I really love about mudlarking is that it seems to appeal to such a wide range of age groups, from small toddlers right up to great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers, and it's just so brilliant that so many people are inspired by this hobby of searching for historical artefacts in the Thames mud. So many people write to me via email, or I've received letters and cards from people saying how much they enjoy my videos, and so I want to say a huge thank you to you all for that. Some of you have even sent me thoughtful gifts, and this is a good opportunity for me to say thank you so very much. I appreciate them all and the time that you've spent to sit down and share your thoughts with me. I also hear from a lot of children, and it's just brilliant that so many youngsters are inspired to get out there and search for history, to research it, to search for nature as well. And so I wanted to give a special shout out to all you children. There's so many of you, to name but a few. There's James, Esme, Emmy Lou, Paige, Sylvia, Colton, and you're all so creative. I received an excellent card from Sylvia here, who's in New Zealand, and I really want to share it with you. It's just excellent. Just look at this. There is a person here, maybe it's me, holding up a clay pipe with somebody sitting on the bowl. What a good seat. I love it. And I love the inside of it too. It says, "Dear Nicola, I love your videos, and I think it is amazing how there are so many things in the Thames. And even though I live all the way here in New Zealand, I can still see what it is like to see the River Thames. And what I particularly love is this man slithering out of the river here with his clay pipe. And if you look carefully, you can see a lost orphan bear there floating in the River Thames." So thank you for that, Sylvia. It's absolutely brilliant. I shall put that up on the wall in my studio along with all the other cards that I've received. And James too, he's extremely creative with his pipe stems and pieces of glass. And Colton, a special thank you to you for the box of treasures that you sent to me. Wow, I am so fortunate. I can't even begin to tell you. So, if you're a child watching this video, I want to set you the Tideline Art Find 5 Object Challenge. In fact, you don't have to be a child, anybody can do it, adults too. Now that the weather is becoming so much better, or at least it is here, it's a good opportunity to get away from our phones, from our games on the screens, from the TV screens, and get out and search for something that inspires us. So, hence the Tideline Art Find 5 Objects Challenge. So it could be a piece of pottery in the garden, it could be a shell on a beach, it could be a piece of driftwood on the beach, an old bleached bird skull by a river, it could be a snail shell. I used to like going searching for seed pods when I was a child. I didn't actually live near a river. I lived in the countryside on a farm for a while. And so I used to go around looking for various seed pods and snail shells and fossils and things like that. So if you can find 5 things in your garden, in the forest, on the beach, by the river, and say a few words about them or write a few words, you could share them with me by photo. You could send me an email with some photos, or you could send me some footage, and if I get enough, I will put them together and make a little video compilation of the Tideline Art Find 5 Object Challenge. So there's something to think about, and yeah, so let's do that over the next couple of months and see what we come up with. I'll be really interested to see what you find. I mean, even a leaf can be absolutely fascinating. And it's a good opportunity to sort of spend a little bit of time searching around, doing something different to what we usually do. So I will leave that with you to think about. And now I'm going to share with you some footage of when I met up with a young lady called Paige about 6 weeks ago. And I set her the Find 5 Object Tideline Art challenge. No, hang on, got that wrong. Tideline Art Find 5 Object Challenge. And she went out on the foreshore to see what she could find. As it happens, she found a lot more than 5 objects. And she also brought along some of her favourite finds from the past. And so we spent a little bit of time looking at those. So I'm going to show you that now. I hope that you enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again very soon with more marvellous mudlarking adventures. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, be happy, stay safe. See you soon. So today I'm on the Thames foreshore with Paige, and I've set Paige a little challenge to look around to see if she can find at least 5 things. Now that could be anything, a piece of pottery, an old nail, a pin, anything really. So how are you getting on, Paige? What have you found so far?
I found an inkwell, just found a button, pipe, some pottery, and we found some pins as well.
Yeah, so you're doing very well, aren't you? So we've still got a bit of time before the tide starts coming in. So let's see what else we can find. Can Paige spot the pipe? Can she spot it? Not far from her feet.
Not far from... Oh wow! Oh wow!
Now, is it going to be just a bowl?
Oh, feels quite...
What do you think? Be very careful. Very careful. Is it going to be just a bowl? To loosen it up a little bit. Oh, very exciting. The anticipation. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. Wow, that is brilliant. So Paige, you have more than surpassed the 5 object challenge. What have you got today? This is just some of the things you found today, isn't it?
Yes, there's some of this feathered
Let's have a look.
pottery.
Yeah.
Like that. Then there's just some random pieces of pottery like those.
Wonderful.
There's pipes. Can't really find out which.
Yes, there's a fragment there with a design on it.
And then this one has a little...
Oh yes, it's got part of a maker on the front there, hasn't it?
And then on the little knobbly bit...
On the heel, yeah. S and F or something.
Yeah, I think
Very
that's
good.
Or an E. And then there's some more little...
Got some pins.
Yeah. And just some stones. I don't know exactly what this was, but yeah, I put that in for some reason. And then this really small little... That's
lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
That looks like it could be 16th or early 17th century, that one.
Yeah, that's exciting. And then there's this one that has the lion and the unicorn on it.
That's lovely. That looks like an armorial.
Yeah, armorial.
Pipe. That's beautiful. Oh yes, it's got the lion and the unicorn.
Unicorn. And then the little...
And that probably dates to the 1700s as well.
And then this is Mummy's pile. She found a little pipe. And then there's a pattern one. And there's this one, which I found quite nice.
Oh, a nice
And then
one.
she found 2 pins there. And then these are my favourite.
Oh, so these are finds that you found before. These are some of your
Yes.
favourite finds. Oh, let's have a look at these.
So here is my first small pipe, quite like this one. It's got a little pattern around.
Very nice.
Thank you. And then this I found in a field. It's a dog.
Oh, I love that.
Little
A
dog.
melted dolly.
Yeah. And then there's this chalk slate, little slate.
Like a little pencil
Yeah,
that
and
the
then
children
I
used.
think it's got something written on the side.
Children could have used that to write on their slate chalkboards, yeah, at school. Very good.
We've got this medieval pressed down pottery.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's lovely. I love that because it's got the fingerprints on the
Yeah.
bottom there.
Really like that.
A wedding ring. You found a ring.
And it's got the little markings to show it's like real gold.
Oh yes.
I think that's modern though.
Yeah. Wow, you've got a real little selection of treasures there, haven't you?
Belamine
And what would you really love to find? What's your dream find?
I think I've already found my dream find.
Oh, that's good.
And then today we also found another inkwell.
And what was your dream find then? That you've already found?
Oh yeah, the inkwell.
Oh, the inkwell.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, this is the one that you found before.
Yeah.
Show me that one then.
And then it's got a little fingerprint.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's lovely. Yeah. Oh, yes, and it's got a fingerprint. Incredible, isn't it, to think that it's a fingerprint from the past,
Yeah.
from over 100 years ago. Well, thank you very much for showing me your collection of treasures, Paige. So do you think it's a good thing then would you encourage other children to go out and search for history and search for nature?
Definitely.
Yeah?
It's a really good thing to do.
Okay.
It's really fun.
So I think that we should encourage other children to get out and do the 5 object challenge to see what they can find, whether that's in the garden, on the beach, in the forest, in a field. 5 things.
Yeah.
Okay, let's work on that idea. Right, well the tide's on the way in, so we're going to go now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Have a cup of tea. It's quite cold and windy. Thank you for coming and thank you for showing me your treasures.
Thank you.
Apparently squirrels love avocado. Let's see if it's right. Hello, how are you today? How are you? Here we are, look. A little platter of nuts and avocado. Come on then, let's have a go. Look, should we try this? There you are. Try that. Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, yummy, yummy. Oh, now he likes that. Or she. I think it's a she. Oh, listen to that little chomping noise.